Good morning. It's 9:08. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us as well. We keep the show up and running and live on YouTube and Rumble. Really excited about the show today. We got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about RFK Jr. And his absolute manhandling, I guess you could call it. He manhandled CNN over the weekend. It's some exciting audio. Then we're going to have Dr. Susanna Underwood on the show from Burrow Holistic Health. We have her on from time to time. I think that she is a very, very smart lady. She has some firsthand experience when it comes to the censorship during COVID. She was essentially removed from Facebook because she spoke out a little bit too much. So we'll talk to her about that. But the real thing I want to talk to her about is, can you detox from the COVID vaccine? I mean, let's be real here. A lot of people got it because they were forced into it. You were put between a rock and a hard place to either provide for your family or not get the jab. And I think that that's BS. And a lot of people are dealing with long-term health effects from this jab. Not everybody, not everyone, but a lot of people are. So I want to talk to her. Like, can you detox from this thing at home? Do you need to seek medical intervention? What are the red flags that you might have some issues coming off this thing? All that and more. Dr. Susanna Underwood is going to join us at 10:05. We are also going to talk about the latest on Iran. Again, with the Fox News reporting this weekend that the missiles are running out, I find myself saying, is this another case of the conspiracy theorists being right? And a lot of people are wondering if this reporter on Fox News is being a traitor. And I would just say, no, she's just reporting what the internet was saying for a long time already. So I don't find that to be traitorous at all. If you're paying attention to what's going on the internet, which I'm sure Iran is, this isn't new information whatsoever. Iran has intelligence agencies. They're keeping score. They're keeping track as best they can. So I wouldn't imagine that this is a shocker to them at all. We're also going to talk about Kamala Harris in Nashville on Friday. It was stunning. It was brave. We'll bring you the highlights. And we'll talk about the In-N-Out shooting. Listen, the only thing that's going to stop a bad guy is a good guy with a gun. And we saw that on full display in Idaho over the weekend. So we'll talk about all that and more. I want to begin with my weekend. We had a great weekend. My boys, they took home some championship hardware during their baseball tournaments, which was a huge, huge victory. Big dub. We were in Chapel Hill over the weekend, Chapel Hill, Tennessee, the best Chapel Hill. I said it to Joan in the back. It's like, hey, she goes, where were you? I said, Chapel Hill. She went, North Carolina? I said, no. The best Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Obviously, Joan. I don't want to do the state-to-state travel tournaments. I'll drive an hour. But like the guys that go to Florida, next level. All the power to you. I love baseball. I love baseball with the boys. I'm under no illusions that either of them are going to go to the majors. I'm not against it. Listen, it's a great retirement plan for Dad if they can make it happen. But baseball raises men. Just that's why we play the game. And when you watch the boys out there dealing with things like having to be patient, having to quickly be intense, having to build leadership skills, it was awesome. And while the championship hardware was great to go home with, my highlight from the weekend was watching my 8-year-old lead his son in prayer before they went on the field. Watching my 6-year-old pray with his team before they went on the field. That was the highlight. We're raising men here. Baseball is just a pathway to that. So we had a great weekend, and Brooks and Bishop did fantastic. They earned those rings, and we say congratulations to them. Gabe, who's producing, also had a heck of a weekend. You were out. Where were you at? You were at the WNBA game. Is that correct? You were out there?
No, I was not, unfortunately.
I thought you were covering the Sophie Cunningham protest.
I was supposed to, but then they ended up not sending us out. They sent out Roe, one of our other reporters, but me and Bo ended up covering the ranking of Tennessee being the worst state in America.
Which is 100% factual if you've been keeping score at home. Especially for our out-of-state listeners, that CNBC list, they nailed it.
Anybody from California, New York, wanting to move to Tennessee, dude, it sucks here, you know? As someone who moved here myself, I am completely regretting it.
And I would throw in, me too, I would throw in anybody thinking about it from Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland.
Not New Hampshire, though, right?
Nah, some of the New Hampshire guys are all right. Northern New Hampshire is, the more north you go, the better you are. Nashua, New Hampshire, the list is completely accurate. 100%.
Is it because they're closer to Canada?
Yes, exactly. They understand freedom. How did that go? Where were you guys covering that?
More or less here. We went to a place called Lewisburg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Very, very rural town. Everybody there said that it sucked.
It's true.
So
and Lewisburg would know.
It was very interesting to see.
Lewisburg is one of those lists, one of those places on the list that they really factored in. It's terrible. It's full too, completely full. Just in case you keep the score at home. But the Sophie Cunningham protests were crazy too.
Yeah, I did see some of the videos.
The Frontlines team over there, they cover the Sophie Cunningham protests. It's wild to me that they're doing this, that they're protesting Sophie Cunningham because she doesn't want men playing in women's sports. It's like, this is so 2019, guys. You know, what are we doing? But they're still they're mad at her because girls and boys.
Well, on top of that, they're mad at her because she's, white, blonde, fairly attractive. So, that doesn't help. If she was overweight and black, maybe they'd start listening to her.
Oh, jeez. And Riley Gaines showed up out there to support her too.
Yes, which
doesn't
awesome.
It doesn't help you with the cancel mob.
Not at all.
But her sneakers are like selling out everywhere.
Sophie Cunningham?
Yeah. If you're gonna support girls' sports, if you got a young girl who wants to play sports, my daughter doesn't. She's more into like the plays and the musicals and all that kind of stuff.
A thespian.
Yeah, she's a thespian.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Well, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, that's... Did I say it wrong?
No, yeah, you said it fine. So anyway, if she was playing basketball, if she was into that stuff, which it's just not her style. You bet your arse I would have bought her some Sophie Cunningham shoes and a Sophie Cunningham jersey. Like, without a doubt. Who wouldn't?
Just do it anyways. Maybe they're like the new Jordans.
I might. Jump girl. Yeah, you should do that. You should do that for your daughters, especially if they're playing basketball. Nothing makes WNBA team owners more upset than you supporting Sophie Cunningham. So I'm here for it. Did you see the meme? So the In-N-Out shooting happened over the weekend in Idaho, and I saw a meme where it was, what's the guy's name? Jordan Salinas.
Yes,
yeah, Jordan Salinas. He's known as the fearless patriot online, and he's a big advocate for having a firearm because the only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and everybody knows that. It's stupid to think anything else. I mean, if it was a gun-free zone and a gun-free state, we would have seen much higher casualties. And to think we wouldn't have, you're just not paying attention. But the memes online where it's Jordan who he's firing at the shooter, right? But the meme is Sophie Cunningham doing the point right behind him, which is, if you're online at all, you've seen the Sophie Cunningham point. Everybody has. It's just savage. Real quick though, the shooting at the In-N-Out occurred on Saturday. This was on Blue Lakes Boulevard in Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a super busy shopping area. A lot of people, and at an In-N-Out on an afternoon on a Saturday, you can imagine that In-N-Out is packed. Now, I don't know how long that In-N-Out has been there. I mean, if it's like any in Tennessee, it's slammed. Maybe it's been there for a while and it wasn't as jumping as some of ours get on a weekend afternoon. But police received reports of shots fired at 2:29. The suspected gunman opened fire, creating a very chaotic scene. People fleeing, multiple agencies responding. But the suspect was found deceased when they got there, and there was no ongoing public threat. And that's because the suspect was engaged by a patriot and an off-duty police officer. The hero in this situation was the off-duty police officer, but it was also a guy by the name of Jordan Salinas. And there's videos. These videos were incorrectly attributed to this being the shooter upon first release, but the videos are Jordan Salinas walking through the drive-through line, responding and engaging this shooter. And you can only say thank you to this patriot. I mean, just unbelievable footage there of it might get us kicked off YouTube if we put it up there.
Yeah, I asked about that, but I was thinking, like, okay, I put it up anyways.
It is a news story. If we get kicked off and banned, I don't know what to tell you.
Just blame it on Dan.
We will. You're learning quick. Gabe is learning very, very quickly. If we get banned off of YouTube, everybody listening, well, then just know that it's Dan's fault, and you can find us on Rumble because they don't censor things like badass patriot heroes. This is Jordan Salinas. He's engaging the active shooter inside the drive-through line. Now, if I'm in the car, I'm not slowing down to take a video. I'm getting the hell out of there. I'll be honest with you. That's just me. I'm out. Deuces. Because I probably got a car full of kids, and I'm not going to stick around. And I'm looking out for them first. Maybe that's controversial.
Doing it for the content.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not filming it. But here's something that's been going around online. 2 years ago, this guy, the Fearless Patriot, posted on Facebook, "Train like your life depends on it because God forbid one day it might." And there's a picture of him, and he's in the exact same position that you see him in the drive-thru firing. And it's like, yes, you should be training like your life depends on it because God forbid one day it might. This is why we always tout our guys over at the Glock store. Not an ad, but seriously, you should go down there or anywhere. Find somewhere that you can train. Get used to handling a firearm. You never know when or where this kind of stuff is going to happen. People are sick. Just spoiler alert. There's a lot of evil in the world. Be ready to respond to it. The moments after the shooter basically ran away like a coward and took his own life. Good. Nothing of value was lost there. But I don't know if he would have taken his own life. Maybe he would have continued firing on innocent bystanders, and he would have just went for suicide by cop. But what could have been a lot worse was essentially stopped dead in its tracks by a fearless patriot, Jordan Salinas. For that, we salute him. Crazy weekend, a lot to get to. On the way, we will bring you some of the highlights of RFK Jr. verbally smacking down Dana Bash when it comes to the COVID response. And the network's, CNN's responsibility when it came to all of it. RFK Jr. embarrassed her on national TV for thinking that she knows more than him about measles. He embarrassed her on national TV for talking about pushing out misinformation and pumping people full of fear. And he called out the network for helping silence dissent during COVID. Now, Dana Bash was very irritated during all of this, and she repeatedly tried to move on and move the conversation away from the censorship, but RFK Jr. didn't let her slide. We'll bring you all the highlights from that on the way. Don't forget, we'll then be joined by Dr. Susanna Underwood of Borough Holistic Health, who was censored herself for telling people the truth about COVID on social media and really had to change her whole business model after all of that. And God bless her for doing what she did. I think the Lord's rewarded her by giving her a very, very successful business in Murfreesboro because of what she did, standing on business. But a lot of people now are waking up to the realization that maybe what they put in their body isn't what they were told they were putting in their body. They're wondering, how the hell do I get this out? So I'm going to ask you some real questions. Can you detox this thing at home? Can you? I mean, I'm asking. We'll talk to Dr. Susanna Underwood at 10:05. Hang out with us. It's 9:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit, but we have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations, we install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. We got headlines on the way in less than a minute. We are, what? Is it 4 days? 3 days? I don't know how you time that out. Today's Monday, and the party's Thursday. Would I say 4 days or would I say 3 days? Either way, August 6th, we are having a Tennessee primary election party at the ever-popular Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and we're very, very excited. It's going to be a heck of a party. The entire crew is rolling out. We're rolling deep. Matt Murphy's going to start his show there at 3 o'clock. And then myself, Mandis, Benson, we're all going to be there as well. And we're going to be watching the results roll in live with you at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like I noticed a subtle pivot from the Republican establishment in Tennessee from attacking John Rose to attacking Monty Fritz over the weekend. And I thought, that's interesting. I don't know if Monty's going to win. I know who I'm voting for. And I'll support any Republican that wins the primary because any Republican is going to be better than any Democrat every single day. And everybody knows it. So let's not kid ourselves. But the pivot was real. Have you voted yet? Did you get it in on early voting or are you doing election day? I'm an election day guy myself. I got to do it on the 6th. But we're going to watch the results with you at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. If you want more information on that party, 997WTN.com. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the one, the only Glock Store. We got a big event coming up at the Glock Store on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. O-Sight Day. There's going to be O-Sight reps on site with a complete line of O-Sight optics on display. You are going to be able to take advantage of some great exclusive in-store deals on O-Sight optics, like buying a box of Burrow bullets. You get to shoot the all-new O-Sight SE MOS for free with no range fees. Cost of Burrow bullets can be applied to the purchase of a new Osight SEMOS. You'll get up to 30 of the new Osight SEMOS optics given away that day. You could win one just for showing up. It's a $250 value. Now, all attendees are going to get a raffle ticket. No purchase necessary, but you got to be there if you want to win one of these things. Free Osight swag while supplies last. Come early for the best selection. That's Osight Day, Saturday, August 8th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Local food trucks on site, ready to serve. Brian Wilson's wife, Cabana wife, she's bringing the cookies, so bring some extra cash because you're going to want some of those. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always open online, glockstore.com.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
.38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Better Water LLC is also sponsoring our big primary party at Hop Springs on Thursday. It's going to be awesome. 3 o'clock, Matt Murphy gets down there, starts doing the show live. Then myself, Dan Mandis, Chad Benson, We're going to be taking you, I think it's all the way till 10 o'clock with election coverage. It's not California, so I imagine we get our results in pretty quickly, not being California and all. We'll go longer if we need to. I think we might stay all night. I think we might see something crazy on election night. Maybe we see Monty Fritz win. Yes, there's polling out done by Donald Trump's chief pollster, who says Marsha Blackburn is still in the lead. They also say Monty only has 22%. I would say press X for doubt on that. I just from seeing the street signs alone and the energy online, I have a hard time believing Monty comes in third. That's just me. Maybe you disagree. That's fine. We're allowed to disagree. And I don't mind disagreeing with people. I'm going to support whatever Republican comes out of the primary because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the right thing to do. It's better than any Democratic option. You know that. I know that. Why would we pretend it's not? But we're going to be doing the party at Hop Springs on Thursday night. Starts at 3 o'clock. Matt Murphy's doing his whole show out there live. Ken Weaver's doing the news out there live. Then myself, Mandis, and Benson, we're going to join the fun. We want you there. It's going to be a good night. It always is a good time at Hop Springs. 997WTN.com for more info. Real quick, RFK Jr. going scorched earth on CNN over the weekend. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they even had him on. Just full disclosure. Why would they invite Bobby on? They knew what Bobby came there to do, I would imagine. But it seems like they're just gluttons for punishment. And Dana Bash, she was the one that was tapped for the interview. The same Dana Bash who pushed the cheap fakes narrative. The same Dana Bash who was giving hand cues to Joe Biden during the debate, that Dana Bash. And she said, Bobby, doesn't President Trump deserve a lot of the blame for COVID?
You have been placing nearly all the blame on the COVID pandemic and the way that the U.S. responded to it squarely with Dr. Fauci. But of course, he worked for President Trump. Does President Trump also deserve some of the blame?
Well, President Trump, as you recall, wanted to end the lockdowns. I think the thing that did the most damage to our country was the lockdowns.
He's absolutely right. And just in case you're not keeping score at home, President Trump wanted to end the lockdowns by Easter. Do you remember that? Does anybody else remember that? He said, I want to end the lockdowns by Easter. That was his stated goal before all of the weasels got in the way. And Dr. Fauci did what Dr. Fauci does. Is it easy to blame President Trump? Maybe. Here's the thing. He's not a medical doctor, and he leaned on the experts that he had at the time. We can look back in hindsight and say that was the wrong move, but he was leaning on his experts. You can also ding President Trump on Operation Warp Speed and say that was a failed operation, which I would argue it is. It was a mess. But you could also take the other stance and say, listen, once President Trump couldn't get the country back open, Operation Warp Speed, getting a vaccine out as fast as humanly possible was the quickest way to end the lockdowns. I understand that calculus too. I do. And it's also important to point out, President Trump wasn't the one that mandated that vaccine so that way you could provide for your family. That was the next regime. Everything got worse when Biden took power. That's not up for debate. President Trump had a measured response, I think, the entire time. Ding him for Operation Warp Speed all you want. Even now, the way he looks back on it, says it's the greatest thing that ever happened. Maybe not. I wish that he would introduce a little bit of if we didn't get it developed, we wouldn't have ended the lockdowns discussion. And that was his thought process. I hope that was his thought process. But if you're going to ding him on Operation Warp Speed. When it comes to the lockdowns, Trump wanted them over by Easter.
Lockdowns that shut down 3.5 million businesses in our country with no due process, no just compensation. All of our churches closed, our schools, and our children are still paying the price for that. And yet we had the worst outcome of any country in the world.
How so?
We have the highest death rate from COVID of any nation on earth.
How so? How so? It's pretty easy to figure that one out. Dana. So then she moved the conversation. Let's talk about measles, because obviously Bobby spread misinformation. He was one of the dirty dozen. I've talked about this often. The Biden administration put out a list of the dirty dozen vaccine misinfo, COVID misinfo spreaders. And if you were like me during the COVID pandemic, that list of the dirty dozen came out and I went, ooh, I got some new people on this list I need to follow, because everybody knew that the government and the media were lying to us. At least on our side, we all knew. We could see through it. So when the government puts out a list of the dirty dozen, I was like, perfect. This is who I should be following. It's Peter McCullough. It's not Anthony Fauci. It's Bobby Kennedy. It's not Deborah Birx. Cool. Say no more, fam. I hit the follow button. A lot of people were banned off of social media during this time because of their vaccine misinformation. So Dana Bash wanted to say, well, it's your vaccine misinformation that's causing a measles pandemic, Bobby. Everywhere you look, it's another kid with measles. I don't know. Like, it's only like a few thousand cases in the country. Have you met a kid with measles? I'm around kids all the time. Like, the boys are on several different baseball teams. The girls are commingling with all their friends. They're in school. They got all these buddies, all these pals. I don't know one kid that's come down with the measles. Is that just me? And I don't want to like downplay it. Like, you know, I guess it's serious. The Brady Bunch did a whole episode on it, so it's got to be sort of serious. But she's like, Bobby, there's a measles pandemic now. And it's your fault. Okay.
Years, you have been one of the leading voices questioning the efficacy of vaccines. Do you accept some responsibility for this measles outbreak?
Absolutely not.
Based.
First of all, this is...
Actually, no, Dana. No, I don't. Also, has anybody asked the question, you know, during the pandemic, when the border was wide open, how we were letting all these unvaccinated individuals come through? Personally, I don't really care. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting a vaccine. Not a fan. But like, for the people that are pro-vaccine people, like all throughout the course of their life, like they need all the jabs. Why wasn't there any attention on the unvaccinated pouring across our border? Did the individuals from Haiti come through with a full vaccine regimen? What about Honduras? What about Venezuela? Do you need a vaccine card to gain membership into Tren de Aragua? Asking for a friend. And I mean, listen, you needed it for American jobs. Did you need it for Tren de Aragua? Was that part of the thing? It's like, okay, we're going to need to run a background check. We're going to need to check your vaccine card before we send you out on your work assignment, taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Was there a vaccine check?
First of all, this is an international outbreak. So, and we're doing better at handling it than any country in the world. Mexico has 15 times the amount of measles per capita that we have. Canada has 4 times the amount of measles. England has 2 times the amount of measles. Did I cause those measles outbreaks?
You're the most famous.
Yes. Bobby Kennedy is responsible for not just America's measles outbreak, but Mexico and Canada.
Did I cause 137,000 cases?
You're the most famous vaccine skeptic on the planet.
Let me tell you, because actually Anthony Fauci in his diaries answers the question about why we're having a measles outbreak right now. The reason we're having a measles outbreak because of the COVID lockdowns, because people children during that period did not get vaccinated. And in his diaries, he says this is going to cause massive outbreaks of measles and more children. He says this are going to die. Let me finish, because you could accuse me of something. Now, let me.
No, I didn't. I asked you a question.
Yeah, let me give you the answer. He says in his diaries, more children are going to die from measles because of these lockdowns than COVID.
No. So Fauci knew? Fauci knew, I guess. Then Dana Bash wants to move on. She's thoroughly debunked on the measles, and then she wants to move away from it. And she's also debunked on the way they responded to the pandemic. Let's start there. She says, how do we prevent the next pandemic? Everyone says another pandemic is coming, Secretary Kennedy. And he's like, well, first we got to acknowledge that everybody did everything wrong last time.
How do you prepare then? How do you prepare for the next pandemic? I mean, that's literally part of your job now, because experts think it's going to happen within the next 10 years again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did virtually everything wrong the last time.
So what about now?
The principal thing that we need to do is we need to listen to what's happening to doctors on the ground. There are 15 million frontline physicians around the world. They're mainly now connected through the internet. We can tell on the front lines what's working and what's not. If we had listened to those doctors during the COVID pandemic, we would have saved potentially millions of lives. There were therapeutics out there that were working. There were doctors that were having no deaths from COVID and treating, in some cases, thousands of patients. And we weren't listening to them. Instead, we were doing the opposite.
Yeah, and the opposite was silencing them, shutting them down on social media. One of those doctors is going to be joining us at 10:05, Dr. Susanna Underwood. Because they were shouted down, they were banned, and as Dana Bash gets shut down by RFK, she wants to move on.
We need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation
of our country. Mean?
Well, during COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
But I'm not. You're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about.
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was written.
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in the last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying you're doing it wrong were being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on, but.
Yeah,
you were saying you were. Yes,
you were part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your
Mr. Secretary,
your job
is
a fierce skepticism toward authority, and you weren't doing that. You were beating up
my job
people
is also
who were dissenting.
No. Okay, you want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations about public health? I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to prevent the next pandemic.
Question, and I'll tell you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
She's just trying to get out of there. She picked the wrong fight with Bobby Kennedy, and she wanted to move on because she knew she was losing that fight. Bobby didn't let her move on.
I also don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that aren't entirely true. You're talking about therapeutics, fine. It is also factually true that the COVID vaccine worked.
Is that so?
Nope.
I recall them telling people that you wouldn't get COVID and you wouldn't be able to spread COVID. That was only for like 3 weeks. And then it was like, okay, you won't be able to spread COVID. And that was like 2 weeks. And it was like, okay, you're going to get it and you're going to spread it, but it's not going to be as bad. And I don't know about you. I was always under the impression that a vaccine meant that I wouldn't get it at all.
Makes sense.
But that definition changed during COVID, right? Weird how that happened. In the vaccine, though, as long as you look at a vaccine as something that's not going to prevent you from getting it, prevent you from spreading it, if you look at it through that lens, then I guess it worked.
The COVID vaccine prevented deaths. There is data upon data upon data. Let's talk about the measles, please, because this is something that is happening as we speak. The cases in the U.S.
vaccine protected children.
I think that what I have talked to scientists and doctors about.
Scientists. Can you show me one study?
Yes, I can.
That shows that
I can.
Children were protected by the COVID vaccine.
I can tell you that
there vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of vaccine disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me a single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
I am talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
And you cite me the study. What study?
No, what studies are you talking about? You're talking about studies that actually don't exist.
He shut her down effectively every step of the way over the weekend. It is not a surprise that this interview went viral. A lot of people are still pissed off for the way organizations like CNN and MSNBC and the media demonized us every step of the way for not wanting to get that vaccine. The lockdowns hurt more people than they helped. The vaccine, I think you could make the same argument. I'm not going to make it, but I think that you could. Hurt more people than it helped. And don't forget how they labeled us as the unvaccinated.
You are the unvaccinated. You are the problem. It is the unvaccinated who are the problem. Period. End of story.
The only people that you can blame, this isn't shaming, this is the truth. Maybe they should be shamed, are the unvaccinated.
It's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks.
Anyone you came into contact with will blame you, as will the rest of us who have done the right thing by getting vaccinated.
Because frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated.
I think it's time to get our moral house in order, Anderson. It's the unvaccinated who are the threat.
All of us vaccinated folks are going to start wearing masks to protect the unvaccinated folks. It's called a Christian value.
It's a Christian value, you guys. You weren't a good Christian during the pandemic, were you? No, apparently I wasn't. Apparently. I was a very terrible Christian during the pandemic. We'll talk to Dr. Susanna Underwood on the way, 10:05. It's going to be a great interview. She was one of the doctors that was censored during the COVID pandemic. She has a lot of real-world experience dealing with people during the pandemic and people that were injured post-pandemic by that vaccine that they promised would keep you from getting COVID, would keep you from getting spreading COVID until it didn't. We got a lot of questions, and we'll even bring up the measles. We'll talk about the measles as well with Dr. Susanna Underwood. But if you got the vaccine, what are some red flags that it could be having some adverse effects on you? And if you are having adverse effects, what can you do today to start detoxing from that? Again, I don't blame you for getting it at all. I think that a lot of people did their own risk-reward analysis, and that's good. That's how it should have been. What pissed me off was when they said, you can't work unless you get it. Or a 6-year-old boy can't sit down in a pizza restaurant in New York because he doesn't have his vaccine paperwork. I thought that was bovine scatology. Everybody knew it. But a lot of people were forced into getting it too. Provide for your family or don't get the jab. So if you're worried about it now, what are some real steps that you can take to detoxing your own body? We'll talk about all that and more with Dr. Susanna Underwood on the way. It's 9:57. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. We've been getting a lot of rain in the past couple of weeks. Have you been getting some water in your crawl space, getting water in your basement? If you have, listen, the water will dry up eventually, but that doesn't mean that the problem goes away. And the longer that you ignore the problem, the more expensive it's going to be to fix it. So call the pros. Call the guys that I trust, United Structural Systems. These guys are in business, and they've been in business since 1994, and that's not by accident. It's because they do business the right way. They give you honest inspections and real solutions to fix your problem. From foundation stabilization to crawl space repair to waterproofing, USS is going to focus on long-term solutions, not quick patches. And right now, you can fix the problem and pay for it later. Or you can pay for it in full today and get a 10% discount when you pay in full. Or you can fix it now, pay later with 18 months, no payment, no interest. Or you choose 36 months, no interest with low payment options for qualified homeowners. USS is dedicated to helping their customers get the repairs they need now to protect their greatest investment in their lifetime, their home. So fix it now, pay for it later. Visit USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. It's United Structural Systems, USSTN.com. It's 10:03 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Really excited about my next guest joining us. She runs the clinic Borough Holistic Health in Murfreesboro. Dr. Susanna Underwood is joining me now on the program. Doc, are you there? Dr. Underwood. Is she muted on your side? She might be muted on your side on the Google chat. Oh, she can't hear us. All right, let's pivot and let's get her on the phone because we're just running through some technical difficulties here. We haven't done a video interview with Gabe on the producer side, so we'll pivot and we'll get Dr. Underwood on the phone. So hit hotline and then dial the number that I sent you. Like, pick up the receiver, dial her up. You got to love doing this live on the air. It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure this out. And then we'll get Doc Underwood on the phone because she's got a story to tell. And I think it's worth hearing. Dr. Underwood is one of the doctors that absolutely dealt with the COVID pandemic firsthand. So we're gonna get her on the phone. I can see her looking at her phone. And so we'll get her on. Yeah, we're calling her. Hang tight, because we'll get all this sorted out. So the one that says WWTN hotline, hang on the actual phone. Yep. Hang on one second. We'll get this sorted out. In the meantime, I can play you another clip from Bobby Kennedy and CNN because he was absolutely on fire over the weekend with Dana Bash, just killing it when he was talking about their response to COVID. The fact of the matter is that the medical establishment and the media establishment, they really hid everything. And RFK Jr. embarrassed her over the weekend on TV, telling her that she was pushing nonsense, and he was absolutely correct. Dana Bash was like, I'm not pushing nonsense.
Don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that are entirely true. You're talking about therapeutics, fine. It is also factually true that the COVID vaccine worked.
Okay, so just go ahead and cancel out of the chat.
Deaths. There is data upon data upon data. Let's talk about the measles, please, because this is something that is happening as we speak. The cases in the U.S.
vaccine protected children.
I think that what I have talked to scientists and doctors about.
Scientists. Can you show me one study?
Yes, I can.
That shows that
I can.
Children were protected by the COVID vaccine.
I can tell you that
there vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of vaccine disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me a single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
You are talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
And you cite me the study.
What study? No.
See, she can't cite the study because she doesn't have the study. Joining us now on the hotline, Dr. Susanna Underwood. I appreciate your patience with us this morning. Doc, how are you?
I am great. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. And after the interview with RFK on CNN over the weekend, I'm feeling a little vindicated. And I wonder if you feel the same way, because I know the story. A lot of people don't know the story. But you were one of those doctors on the front lines. And when RFK Jr. went after CNN on Sunday morning on the COVID response, the vaccines claims, the measles, the rising autism rates, one of the things that really caught my attention, though, was when he brought up the censorship. And he spent a good chunk of the interview talking about how the media and social media shut down any dissent during COVID and how they controlled the narrative. And it immediately reminded me of you because it was, April of 2020? You went live on Facebook. You held up a mask and you said, if these things work, can someone show me where the biohazard drop bin is to put them in? And it was 48 hours from there, you were flagged on Facebook and Instagram and removed from all of the social media platforms for not adhering to current medical knowledge. And then you vanished from social media for a while. Can you walk us through what feeling that censorship in real time was like?
Yeah, and actually, after listening to that interview with RFK and CNN, man, I don't know about you, my blood was boiling. I had to calm my Italian self down for a minute because it did bring up all of these emotions of how dare she speak like that? And he's trying to help people. He's not hurting anybody. And it's what I was doing as well. And it was trying to take away this fear factor and this divide that was happening. And yeah, we were absolutely censored, and we were, put on a platform of disinformation, and so were so many hundreds of other doctors. And honestly, I mean, I have a lot to say about this subject because which is why you had me on the show today. But I've got two main takeaways with everything I heard. I mean, there's a lot of stuff he got out, if you could hear him, because, clearly she had the dominating mic. But briefly, he touched on a couple of key things that really stuck to me. So one, first of all, is that actually we had this conversation, right, with mainstream media. That's big. Yep. I mean, obviously, she was a parrot, and we saw that, and she has zero regard for what RFK stands for, what we stand for. And even after learning about, the Fauci corruption and the fake science, she's still backing the narrative. So we heard that. But again, the conversation happened, which is something that we were really wanting to happen years ago. But the biggest thing is that COVID exposed something for us. And what he said was a very big takeaway, was that honestly, and here, I'm going to say this, really understand me clearly. COVID exposed how unhealthy Americans already were. It didn't create Americans' health crisis. It exposed it. So we didn't have just a COVID pandemic. We had a chronic disease pandemic that collided with a viral pandemic. So we weren't prepared for the pandemic. When over half of adults were living with these chronic diseases, 5+ prescription medications, with obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune diseases. I mean, a new virus is naturally going to hit harder. So the question isn't, whether we're going to encounter another virus or a pandemic, but it's going to be if the vaccine is going to protect us. Absolutely not. We saw that. But the biggest question is how resilient our bodies are when it does happen. So we've spent thousands, billions, I would say, treating disease after it develops, but very little helping people build their health. And that's completely backwards. So here's the thing, Chris. If we spend the next 10 years arguing about masks, vaccines, censorship, we're never going to address why so many Americans are metabolically unhealthy. And we'll just be as vulnerable the next time that this comes around, because there's going to be something else. I mean, for the past 20 years, I've been in healthcare, and 15 of them practicing as a naturopath. My focus has been on helping patients understand prevention and to restore their health. COVID just really reminded us that healthcare works best when doctors can critically think. Patients are allowed to ask questions and get honest answers because we deserve the informed consent. We all can agree on that. Yeah. We can absolutely agree on that.
So you bring up an interesting point, and then we'll kind of get back on track. But do you think with the silver lining there of it exposing just how unhealthy Americans were, I saw the explosion of content online about getting healthier and rooting out the processed junk and getting rid of all the bad stuff, right? And I feel like a lot of Americans changed their diet because of this. Do you think we're in a better spot today as the American population as a whole, more resilient than we were pre-COVID, or do you think it's kind of status quo?
Well, I think we're definitely more aware, 100% more aware of things. You're hearing more and more come out about the food, the processed food, ultra-processed foods, calling them these names that we've been saying for a long time, and now it's starting to actually catch fire. But I think we have to be careful about becoming I would say like placement to it. So basically when you're getting used to, okay, we had the pandemic, it's over, we want to get healthy, and now we're kind of getting lackadaisical again. I don't want people to forget what went on. Right. It is so important to remember everything that was said, everything that happened, why our bodies got hit so hard. We have to remember those things. So that to me is the most important key factor that I heard when he said that. Like that clearly, that touched on something that I think deserves to be the most attention drawn to, because it's the heart of the matter.
Yeah, we can't forget. And one of the things that irritates me the most about this entire pandemic is when they forced a vaccine, an experimental jab on the entire population. And there were a lot of people that were between a rock and a hard place. And I don't want to like bring shame to it, right? I think that's the wrong way to go about it. If you had to choose between getting the jab or not being able to provide for your family, I get where you were coming from. There's a lot of people that took it because they trusted the experts. And I even get that, because to a certain extent, there was a lot of media manipulation and brainwashing going on. But there's a lot of people today that are waking up and they got that COVID shot. Millions of people did what they were told. What long-term effects are you seeing most in your patients from the COVID jab?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. No shame, but shame or not, we have to understand the facts. Yes, we have to focus on the here and now, and we can't, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we absolutely have to understand that we have to help people get better now. This shot is mRNA technology. I know that a lot was going on in the beginning, and people were like, oh, can it stay in your cells? Does it go into your DNA? What is this thing doing? But it absolutely isn't leaving the body. So you just have to do your best to support yourself from the distraction of that constant spike protein that's going on. So I have a lot of patients and I see a lot of patterns. I mean, I thrive on connecting the dots. I can't say every condition I see is caused by one thing, but I can say this. Since the COVID shot, I am seeing more and more patients struggling with persistent, aggressive symptoms that advanced very quickly. Autoimmune, neurological, cancers, cardiovascular, hormones, fatigue, brain fog, insomnia, chronic inflammation. I mean, and the common theme is they got the COVID shot. And pretty much all they've ever, seriously, it's just, they never felt the same sense. Everyone says the same thing. And they've progressively just gotten worse. And the things that used to work before, the remedies, let's fast, let's work out, it's just no longer touching it. So the most important thing we can do now is listen to the patients, not dismiss them. When someone's symptoms followed an experimental vaccine, I think they absolutely deserve to be taken seriously. So again, we cannot get rid of it. That is what it is saying right now, as of right now. But we have to do things to stop distracting the immune system, to stop distracting the body from that constant, all the time. It's 24/7. Spike proteins are working within your DNA.
So, that kind of answers my next question, because I'm wondering if there's a way for people that can detox from this. But if you're saying that there's no way to stop it, that kind of answers the question a little bit. But is there a way that you can start cleaning up your own body at home to try and help this work its way out, I guess? It's probably the wrong terminology.
Absolutely. But. Yes. And that's what I was saying. Absolutely. You don't give up hope just because you got it, but you have to understand what you have in your system. So honestly, and this is what I tell my patients, step one is to always stop filling the toxin bucket. Literally, you can't keep burdening the body with toxins while trying to detox. You have to let the body understand the body has its own mechanism of action for detoxing. And so this means that we then just have to make sure we're helping clean up the variables. That's our diet, our sleep, our stress, reducing alcohol, medications, stopping those ultra-processed foods, getting rid of unnecessary chemicals around the home, in the home, things like fragrances. Drink plenty of clean water, and the biggest thing is don't forget to just chill. We live this on-the-go lifestyle that can tax our adrenals, usher in restaurant foods and fast foods because we're constantly on the go, instead of this home-cooked environment where we're relaxing and we're having meals as a family. People want the fancy supplement first, but lifestyle has to be the foundation.
So when you're going through all this, if you're somebody that got the vaccine, What are some red flags that let you know that it's time to stop doing it yourself and it's time to see like a doctor essentially? What are the red flags?
Well, here's the thing. So everyone wants, let's just circle back a little bit to the detox thing, because I want to make this clear. Everyone wants this magical supplement, right? They want to make sure they hear it online. Oh, this will help detox you from the COVID shot. But understand, detoxification isn't in a bottle. It's a process. So your body has this incredible detoxification, like I mentioned before, but the question is whether or not those systems are working efficiently. So the goal isn't to like force a detox. So I want you to understand that, but we want to allow those body systems to be able to work and to open up detox and drainage pathways. I like to call them the bowls. They're the bowels, the urinary, the lung, the lymphatic, and the skin. Making sure the bowels are moving daily, adequate hydration, sweating, kidney function is going well, lymphatic movement. The skin isn't burdened with chemicals. You're getting good sleep. You got that gut-brain connection going. Less stress, good diet. These are the key things that you can absolutely do on your own. I don't want you to feel like there's no hope, but understand there are definitely variables going on in your body, and you have to stop with contributing to those burdens. So then let's go back to what you had just said about the red flags, because I see this often. They've tried, they've done their own thing. And finally, they're at this point where they're like, okay, I got to get some help with this, because symptoms are becoming persistent, or they start shifting into different areas of the body and affecting the quality of life. That's when evaluation is absolutely necessary. Stop with the guesswork and let's get to the facts. So that's where I do individual testing. It becomes so valuable. So it's not just one body, the same thing going, like on a conveyor belt, right? You're just like a number. That's not how it should be addressed. We definitely want to make sure that the body is viewed as what your body personally needs. It's not going to be the same as what somebody else's may need. So there are tools, there are things, absolutely. I mean, I did create a couple of different, protocols. I did create a specific supplement called Inflame CV. I love NAC, glutathione. These things are great, but my goal was never to sell a product. It's to help people as a whole to recover. But there's definitely a lot of people trying to capitalize on this as well. So you have to be careful with who and what you're buying and who you're trusting.
We're talking with Dr. Susanna Underwood from Burrow Holistic Health. I got a couple of curveball questions from the super text line, which I think are important. So Chris wanted to know, if this shot messes with the DNA, does it get passed down to people's children?
Goodness, that is an unfortunate yes. A very unfortunate yes. And I have seen it firsthand.
Okay. Another curveball question. What are you hearing about fertility, specifically when it comes to teen girls that took the shot?
Well, in the beginning, we heard a lot about it because it was really messing with the cycles, and it still is. It's a little different right now. So I would say it's up there. I have a lot of people who have gotten it and are getting pregnant. Now, again, I am helping them. I'm helping them detox. So again, that could possibly be the main factor for what I am actually seeing. But I'm hearing it across the board. A lot of infertility issues absolutely are coming post-vaccine.
Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. I think we could spend all day on the COVID jab, but I do want to ask you about something else. One of the other topics of conversation during this RFK Dana Bash interview that she tried to use as a bludgeon against him, but I feel like it backfired, was the measles. And he pushed back hard on the current measles narrative. So I made the point earlier that, I got 4 kids. We're in a bunch of circles. We got all these baseball teams, all these school classes. I haven't seen one kid come down with the measles, right? But from your perspective, the illness itself, the vaccine, natural immunity, what are you actually seeing on the ground when it comes to measles?
Well, okay, so what I've personally seen over the years is that most healthy children recover from the measles just normal. I mean, they breeze right through it. But like any infectious disease, you have to remember complications can occur. And again, what we were just talking about with our country and the state of our health and wellness, my concern is that sometimes public discussions like this become like let's oversimplify it. Oh, it's fine, no big deal. But you have to understand that we should be talking more about their immune system resilience, children's nutritional status, their vitamin A deficiency. Are we checking that? How about the individual risks? it's not simply reducing every conversation back to fear and agendas, but you have to understand that this isn't just a one size fits all. Anytime someone's exposed to this, you don't know if they already have the vaccine in their system and it makes it worse. You don't know any of these, their past, their history. That's where it becomes a little bit like understanding, sure, I am not afraid of any of this, and I do not advocate for vaccines. They do not offer the same strain as the wild virus, and therefore there's many studies out there that show natural immunity offers significant health benefits beyond just getting it and then you're immune to it. But more people die from automobile accidents than childhood vaccines, yet we keep on driving, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so that's where I go with this. Honestly, I would much rather natural immunity, but you have to understand the person. If they're weak, if they're immune imbalanced, you have to understand their status in all ways.
So risk reward analysis for your own personal
That's
family.
right. That's right.
We're talking with Dr. Underwood, Borough Holistic Health in Murfreesboro. Are the outcomes and the severity of the measles outbreak matching the fear narrative, or do you think there's a little bit more to the picture?
Oh, I think there's always more to the picture. We have to just be aware of that. And I hated it when she forced him on that interview on yesterday to say what he said about, yes, I think you should get the MMR. I disagree, but again, she pretty much put him in a throat hold. It felt like. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I did. What's the biggest piece of advice you'd give families right now who are trying to protect and restore their health in today's environment?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My advice right now is just to really understand that we don't make decisions based on fear. That's so important. Read broadly. Find practitioners who are willing to have honest conversations with you, who won't dismiss your concerns. And most importantly, take care of the body as a whole. Remember, health isn't built from a shot, a supplement, a prescription. It's built on our everyday decisions. Through nutrition, sleep, movement, stress management. All of these things are how we have to take care of our bodies so we're not caught off guard.
Dr. Susanna Underwood with Borough Holistic Health. How can people get in touch with you and your office?
Absolutely. So you can check out our website, boroughholistichealth.com. You can check us out on Instagram at Borough Holistic Health. And you can call the clinic. You can actually talk to a human or stop by, and just get some information from us that way. But yeah, we are here in the borough, and we aren't going anywhere.
Well, I appreciate you, Doc. I think you're an invaluable resource, and I thank you for the time on the show today.
Thanks, Chris. Take care.
It's 10:25. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 1031 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Thank you again to Dr. Susanna Underwood. We appreciate her coming on. She's with Borough Holistic Health in Murfreesboro, giving us an unedited inside look at the COVID pandemic. She's always a great resource, so we appreciate it for that. Don't forget, on the way Thursday, we have our big primary party at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. Matt Murphy's going to be down there at 3 o'clock. Then myself, Dan Mandis, the whole crew, Chad Benson, we're all going to be joining them live. We're going to be covering this thing live on the air, live on YouTube until about 10 o'clock at night. We imagine that we'll have results in by then since we live in a proper state. We're not California. But we are willing to go later should that be needed so we can get you the up-to-the-minute results on the gubernatorial primary and the other primaries going on in Middle Tennessee. If you want more information on that, 997WTN.com for the info. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. These guys are absolutely untouchable. Dr. Mitchell is the best when it comes to cutting-edge technology, and he has created something even more special. It's called Medical Bay One. Picture this. You relax in what feels like an Artemis medical spaceship while it massages you, hits you with full-body red and near-infrared lasers using photon wavelengths to stimulate your stem cells and regenerate tissues. Your cells are going to be lighting up the way God intended them to. About half your visit will be soaking up that next-level healing. The other half, well, that's something else that they're pros at, the non-surgical spinal decompression. What they're not going to push on you, surgery, painful injections, opioids, not their style. They're offering some specials right now, including the Epic Spinal Special, which gives you $33 off each and every visit. Here's what you do. Your pain-free life is a call or click away. Painisbad.com or 615-246-5009. That's painisbad.com or 615-246-5009. You're not going to be mad that you made that call. Painisbad.com. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And first of all, I just want to give you a big thank you to everybody that joined in and helped with the back-to-school supply drive. A lot of kids starting school again in Middle Tennessee. Our friends at Busy Bee, they jumped in, and they wanted to help out as well. And this audience always steps up. So thank you to everyone that brought rulers and backpacks and all the things, the hand sanitizer, the tissues, all of that to the Busy Bee headquarters. So that way they could help out some kids in need in Middle Tennessee. It's a big deal. And again, we can't do it without you. Busy Bee can't do it without you guys as well. Right now, if you need a new HVAC system, go with the guys that care about your community and save some money at the exact same time. If you get a new HVAC system in right now, you'll get a free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment. If you got plumbing projects, you can save $800 on whole home water and drain line replacements. And some neighborly love, you buy that Beehive Club membership, you get a free one to give to someone in your neighborhood. If you need financing, Busy Bee's got you covered. Qualified buyers get 0% financing for 18 months. So give these guys a call today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybeehvac.com. .1041 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Better Water is also sponsoring our big primary night party at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro on Thursday. Would you say that's 4 days from now or 3 days from now?
I'd say it's 3.5.
3.5? That's
Yes,
Ken Weaver. He's my official timekeeper. of WTN. What's up, Ken? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you boys?
Man, we're rocking. We
Yes,
we had some great interviews earlier, and we're coming off a strong weekend. Now, I got to show you a picture in a little bit.
Okay.
My boys both brought home some championship hardware.
All right.
Over the weekend, they had some baseball tournaments. So I got to do a little humble dad brag in the back when we get an opportunity.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what the coolest thing was?
What's that?
Even better than them bringing home the hardware was watching each of the boys lead their respective teams in prayer before the game.
Now that right there is
that's the win, right?
That's priceless.
That's the win. And my weekend was off to a rocky start. I'll be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Because I like you, I saw the clips of Kamala Harris in Nashville on Friday, and I thought to myself, how can I recover from this? How can Nashville recover? And
Right.
I think a lot of us were asking those hard questions as we head into the weekend. Will we rebuild? Luckily, I feel like we've gotten through it, but we do have to relive it. If we forget what happened on Friday with Kamala Harris in Nashville, then we're going to be forced to repeat it. So I have some of this for you.
Yeah, she might come back.
Yeah, I apologize that we have to do this, but it's something that has to be done. And Kamala Harris was in Nashville. And if you don't think that Kamala Harris is running for president, then I don't know what to tell you, because she understands very vividly what we all know. If she wants to gain the nomination for the Democrat Party, there's a group of people that she needs to win over. And that group is the Democrat Socialists of America. She needs to win over the radicals in order to gain the nomination. And I think a lot of the big timers in the Democrat Party understand that calculus. They're saying we're a big tent party. We don't agree with everything, but we agree with a lot. We do. There's some of it that's good. It's okay. That's a take. But Kamala Harris went back and she doubled down on some of the most radical leftist policies that she could find, including ending the Electoral College, expanding the Supreme Court, and making D.C. and Puerto Rico a state, which, again, we have said this over and over again. If the Democrats regain power, this is their plan because it makes sure that Republicans can never hold power. Kamala Harris on stage in Nashville with the National Urban League. She reiterated all of these points.
We need to revisit the Electoral College. We need to revisit the point of expanding the court to 13 justices like we have 13 district courts. We need to revisit, if they so want, statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C.
Yes.
If we regain control of the Senate, I served on this committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, when I was in the Senate.
Stunning.
Only the second black woman elected to the United States Senate
And
after Carol
brave.
Moseley Braun.
Wow.
And the Senate Judiciary Committee has the power to create rules for its committee that don't have to go to the whole Senate for a vote and worry about filibuster and all of that.
So she doesn't like the filibuster either. All right, so let's just run through the points. Abolishing the Electoral College. Let's start there. Hey, someone remind Kamala that she lost the popular vote too. I mean, seriously. Now, I understand why she's pushing this, because she wants elections to be decided by California and New York, which is the exact reason why the Electoral College was put in the first place. So that way the big states can't run over the small states, and that way the candidates have to campaign evenly across all 50 states if they want to win the office. The Electoral College makes sense, even if you don't like it. It just does. Let's talk about expanding the Supreme Court. She only wants to do this because she only wants outcomes that benefit Democrats. And I hate to say it, but like the current iteration of the Supreme Court, I feel like it's at its most fair. Everybody's pissed off all the time. We're all pissed off at the Supreme Court. I'm pissed off at the Supreme Court. Democrats are pissed off at the Supreme Court. I feel like that means we have a good Supreme Court. Is that just me? Is that wrong? Like when the birthright citizenship stuff comes up, yes, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. But when they overturn Dobbs, I'm happy. That's good. That's good. So it's an ebb and a flow. And the current iteration of the Supreme Court is fine. Conservatives are going to be mad sometimes. Democrats are going to be mad sometimes. That means you have a fair court. I hate to break it to you. I'm not going to belabor the fact that birthright citizenship didn't go our way. It's just that's the way things go sometimes. It sucks. But decisions go in our favor sometimes too. Like the temporary protected status for Haitians. I don't know if you know that. Temporary means temporary. And the administration is allowed to decide when that temporary status ends. So there are good and there's bad with the Supreme Court. And that means it's fair. It's like, what's the sign of a good negotiation? When both parties are pissed. That's the sign of a good negotiation. And I feel the same way with the Supreme Court. Both parties are oftentimes pissed off at the Supreme Court. It probably means it's doing its job the right way. I'll argue to the death that the birthright citizenship was the wrong decision. But the way it stands right now, pretty fair. Then she wants statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico. They don't actually care about D.C. and Puerto Rico being states. You understand that, right? They just want 4 more Democratic senators so that way they can ram through anything they want through the U.S. Senate. That is the only reason. Everyone knows it. That wasn't the only thing she talked about. She also talked about Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been a big topic of conversation. Everybody knows that his America PAC is back in action. They're going to be pouring money into the midterm elections. It's a good thing for conservatives. The Democrats can't manage their money at all. The DNC had to put its headquarters up as collateral for a loan, and because they can't manage their money. You want a future where the Democrats are in power. Just look at the current iteration of the Democrats. They can't manage their money. Why would you want them to manage yours? But so Elon must have been a target. So Friday in Nashville, Kamala Harris once again brought up the lie that Elon Musk and Marco Rubio's Doge cuts to USAID resulted in the deaths of 600 to 700,000 people.
It's so unbelievable that they got rid of USAID. And you saw the recent numbers. As many as 600, 700,000 people have died because of withdrawing American aid for humanitarian purposes.
Except that's a total lie. That's 100% a falsehood. Leave it to Kamala Harris. Those numbers are projections and model-based estimates. That's not death certificates. That's not named victims. Just so you know, these numbers that are it's 100% happened estimates. It was from a Lancet study in 2025, and it estimated that sustained deep cuts closure could lead to more than 14 million additional deaths by 2030, including 4.5 million children under 5. Based on historical associations between USAID, their funding levels, and the mortality reductions over prior decades. But these numbers, these estimates rely on statistical assumptions, and the assumptions that no one is going to substitute the aid, that no other donors, no other governments, no one else is going to fill those gaps. Critics note the models are overstated and that they treat USAID as uniquely irreplaceable, ignoring parallel funding, private charity responses, host country efforts, or the fact that some humanitarian channels had documented waste, politicization, or worse. She's on stage and she's lying. Is anybody surprised? It's 10:50. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find it.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, I watched you do it. It's, about 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
New details in the deadly crash on Lower Broad, plus some relief at the pump in Middle Tennessee. And before your next trip, a warning from Microsoft. All this and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 10:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. My friend Donnie in Nashville is on the line. He wants to talk about the vaccine. What's up, Donnie?
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. Man, I just had to call in because my blood is absolutely boiling after hearing that interview that you had with that doctor regarding the COVID shot.
Dr. Underwood.
Yes, Dr. Underwood. I just got to know, what are we doing as the American people when, that we're supposed to trust the media and we're supposed to trust the experts, and then they fearmonger, and then they tell us, you got to get the jab if you're going to go to work and support your family. And, at the time, I made that decision as a father to get my kids this vaccine, and to find out that it's all the way it is, it makes me so mad. I'm trying so hard not to cuss right now. I'm a veteran. I volunteered my time to my country. And when I went to boot camp, I went down a line, and I just got stuck with all kinds of vaccines and needles, anthrax, and this and that. And I just took it. So, when the time came around, I thought, surely I just don't know. You know what? We just thought we were doing the best thing for our family, and we got it. And my kids got it. My son's in the Air Force. He's 20 years old. He just graduated boot camp. He's fixing to get out of tech school. After hearing that interview with Dr. Woods, I told him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't protect you better. And I'm so fired up. And this guy, Fauci, gets up there and pleads the fifth 111 times. He probably ain't going to see one day of prison time, nothing. And we're just all out here just flapping, just supposed to take it. You know, when are we going to see some accountability?
I hear you, man. And listen, I just want to tell you, like, it's not your fault, dude. It's not. You thought you were doing the best thing, and you had to do your own risk-reward analysis. Like, you got to take the guilt and shame out of that. You are not alone in feeling like that. A lot of parents feel the way you feel today. And my heart goes out to you. It really does. I think a lot of people owe you a personal apology. I think a lot of Americans are owed a personal apology, Donnie. And I think Fauci should be in prison. I think Fauci should be in prison for the rest of his life. And I don't think it's just Fauci. I think it's all of these people, all the people in the media that demonized the people that didn't want to get it. And then years later, they're like, oh, well, you know, yeah, they were right. They should all go to prison. And
you're absolutely right. Every one of them should go to prison. They should be under the prison if it were up to me. You know?
Yeah, I think prison's the moderate solution. You know, and my heart breaks for you, man. Like I just feel that pain. And
well, you know, I won't never make that mistake again. I won't never make that mistake again.
Well, and it's like when people are like, well, now there's vaccine hesitancy everywhere with everything. And it's like, you know, I don't necessarily know if the polio vaccine's a bad vaccine or if the measles vaccine's a bad vaccine, but like, you're damn right there's vaccine hesitancy everywhere because we now know that you lied to us through your teeth for years.
Absolutely. And now our DNA is altered and now we're passing it down to our children. I mean, come on. You know?
I know, man. Listen.
Hey, thanks for letting me vent, man. I'm just you know, I don't even want to say it, but
you're not alone, man. And I appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us. But just try and let go of the guilt and shame, dude. It's not going to help. I promise you that. But I appreciate your call, and I appreciate you listening. It's 11 o'clock. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And in the aftermath of Saturday's deadly Lower Broadway crash, Metro Council member Jacob Cupin says he's going to be evaluating whether to further restrict or close Broadway to vehicle traffic on weekends.
There's a lot of considerations. I know on weekend evenings it does often get closed, but certainly something we'll be evaluating with this new situation that's happened.
Yeah, so what did happen? Channel 4's Jordan James.
Authorities say an 87-year-old driver ran a red light at the intersection of Broadway and 4th Avenue and struck 4 pedestrians, killing one of them while the other 3 remain hospitalized. Faith Colafrancesco works along Broadway.
It's just like scary and just like knowing how many times we cross the road every single day going to work right here, and that could have been any of us, and just seeing it happen right in front of our eyes, like it's just a wake-up call, like how much we don't pay attention, how fast like it can change.
In addition to the pedestrians, the driver and his wife were injured.
It's worth noting Nashville had already begun a weekend traffic plan earlier this year that closes portions of Lower Broad to most general vehicle traffic on Friday and Saturday nights while allowing emergency and authorized transit access. Gasoline prices are going down in Middle Tennessee, according to Gas Buddy. But the average price nationwide remains above $4 a gallon as uncertainty grows in the Middle East. Here's Gas Buddy Head of Petroleum Analysis Patrick DeHaan speaking with ABC News.
Some of the seasonality starting to factor in. Gasoline demand typically peaks in mid to late July, and demand softening now may add to the tailwinds of pushing prices lower. We haven't seen much in terms of a hurricane, and with lower oil prices now, we're seeing a little bit of relief.
Gas Buddy puts the average price here in Middle Tennessee today at $3.66. Microsoft is issuing a security warning about hotel Wi-Fi. The company is saying Russian hackers are using phony sign-in pages to break into your accounts. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
In a new alert, Microsoft is warning that it identified widespread compromise of Wi-Fi networks at hospitality-related organizations. Russian-backed hackers will use hotel Wi-Fi networks to target travelers. The hackers create these fake pages that look like real Microsoft 365 logins. Then they'll steal your credentials or send malware.
New details on the mass shooting that left 3 people dead outside an In-N-Out Burger in Idaho. ABC's Trevor Alt on the scene there in Twin Falls.
Lindsay Tangy heard the gunshots.
It was just mass chaos. The attention was everybody running from In-N-Out.
She found several victims, including her friend Terry Dudley, a taxi driver and Army veteran who'd been shot in his car.
I walked over and Terry was in his front seat, still conscious at the moment, but not really able to communicate.
Police have now identified the shooter as 24-year-old Chad Williams. They say he died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, you get those at betterwater.com. We love the guys at Better Water. They're actually sponsoring our big primary party, which is happening on Thursday at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. We're really excited about the party. Matt Murphy's going to be doing a show down there live. Myself, Dan Mandis, Chad Benson, Ken Weaver. We're all going to be rolling deep. and we're going to be down there bringing in the results live. As of right now, we're scheduled to be on the air and on YouTube until about 10 o'clock covering these results live. So watch us if you're not going to come to the party. Watch us on your TV at home because we'll have the up-to-the-minute results. I would imagine, maybe this is just me, I would imagine we'll have our results by 10 o'clock. We're willing to stay later if we don't have them. But we all were trying to talk about, like, what time do we end it? And a consistent theme came up in our meeting that we actually aren't California. So 10 o'clock will probably be fine. So we're fingers crossed. Mandis might cut out early because he usually goes to bed about 8 o'clock. So, but myself and Murphy and Benson, I think we're ready to go the whole 9 if we need to. We're not California. I think we'll be all right. Thoughts? Is that a good guess?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good guess. Not California. Dan's going to bed early. Is that because he's like significantly older than you?
I think it has to do with the significant old age. It also has to do with the fact that Dan gets up, and I don't know if you know this. Dan's a beast. So I said 8 o'clock. I think that might be late for brother Dan. But he gets up at like midnight, 1 a.m. to start prepping his morning show.
Dang.
Like that's what time he wakes up. Because he's on the air at 5.
That means 8 p.m. is definitely
way
late.
Past his bedtime.
Yeah.
Have you ever done morning radio?
Never done morning radio.
Dude, morning radio, and Ken can speak to this because I know he's had his fair share of early mornings. It is such a different grind. Like, I did it for about a year and a half in Pittsburgh. I don't know if I would ever want to do it again. Like, it is so taxing just on your body and on your mind. The fact that Dan does it at such a high level every morning is unbelievable to me. Truly. Like, he's always on the money. He never comes across as exhausted. Like, he's always lights out. And it takes a special kind of guy to do that. So if he wants to bounce early, he's more than welcome to.
Big ups, Dan Mandis.
Big, like huge. You got to give Dan his flowers. And then sometimes, dude, you don't even know this. Sometimes he goes full marathon and he'll fill in on, there's a national show called Red Eye Radio, which is straight through the overnight, like 11 to 5. I think it's 11 to 5. It might be 12 to 5. Either way. So Dan will do for like a week, he'll do all of Red Eye Radio and then his morning show. It's just bananas.
What a grinder.
Dude, he is. He is. I want to be like Dan when I grow up.
Because he's significantly older than you.
Yep, exactly. So we had a caller a little while ago, Donnie. And Donnie was pissed off that he got told that the vaccine was safe and effective and would prevent his family from getting COVID and transmitting COVID. And he had a lot of pain in his voice when he was talking about this because, like many people out there, they were just trying to do the best to keep their kids protected. In a climate of fear, mind you, during the COVID pandemic. And, we can talk all day about what should or should not be done to Fauci and to his minions and to the people that ran the gain of function research. But I think like one of the best places to start would just be an apology. If we were going to set the bar very, very low, I think that one of the first things that we need to do to get over this would be just to apologize, just to the people who demonized the unvaccinated, just to the people who sold the American people a bill of goods. Just apologize. Admit you were wrong because we need to see that repentance. And so far, I haven't seen any apologies. Sans one. I have seen one apology. I'm going to play you this in its entirety. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds. And I think that this is important because to this day, this is the only media figure I have seen apologize whatsoever. And it's Stephen A. Smith. And he issued a public apology to Kyrie Irving, who you may or may not know. He's an NBA player. He was on the LeBron James championship team with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He then went to the Boston Celtics. Then he went to the Brooklyn Nets. And it was during his time on the Brooklyn Nets that he refused to get vaccinated. He refused. And I'll tell you what, when I was paying a lot of attention to sports back during those days, and I was very upset with Kyrie Irving for how he left the Celtics. But when he refused to take the jab, I was like, man, good for you. Like, we need more people like this willing to stand on business. And he got demonized for it in the media. Absolutely roasted by so many people. He was called all the names that you and I were called as well, except in a much more public manner. He was called selfish. He was called evil. He was saying that he was going to make little old ladies die, all the things. And the media raked him over the coals because he didn't want to get this experimental gene therapy. Stephen A. Smith raked him over the coals because he didn't want to get the experimental gene therapy. But last week, Stephen A. Smith publicly apologized to Kyrie Irving.
There were others who had the courage to say, bump that. And one of those people at the forefront was Kyrie Irving. I bring his name up because I had my issues with him from a leadership standpoint. Never as a player, because he's sensational. But with him, in terms of leadership. And I didn't look at it as being courageous. I looked at it as being selfish. And I watched Dr. Fauci on Capitol Hill yesterday. And the person I thought about most was Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving stood out in my mind because of the heat that he was taking. And now folks were piling on because that was just the latest transgression in their eyes that he was committing and subjecting the public to. He refused the vaccine. New York City's mandate made him ineligible for home games. And he linked his stance to people losing jobs over vaccine mandates. In my opinion, particularly hindsight-wise, it didn't make him stubborn or selfish. It made him brave for his willingness to stand up.
Amen.
And say, nah, I'm not doing that. It's just a time for reflection and look at things differently.
Stephen A. I mean, that might be, especially in sports radio, because, you know, Stephen A's in the sports world. That might be a minute and 40 seconds of the most open and honest reflection that you will ever hear in sports radio. Kyrie Irving does deserve an apology. Everyone who refused to get the vaccine deserves an apology. You know what? None of us regret not getting it. None of us. And as individuals who refused it, it's not an opportunity to dunk on people that got it. It's not. That would be a mistake. There were people that were duped by the medical industrial complex. There were people that were coerced. There were people that were forced. There were people that were essentially threatened. Get it or else. What Kyrie Irving did was one of the most public displays, and I'm drawing a blank. Did any other athlete stand up and stand on business the way Kyrie Irving did? Anybody? I don't think so. I don't think so. But what Stephen A. did there, has any other sportscasters done this? Has any other media officials done this? Has anyone on CNN or MSNBC? Or hell, even Fox News when they were pushing the jab? Any of them apologize? No. We are owed a lot of apologies. We're not going to get them. And I wouldn't want to sit around waiting for them. But just know you're owed that. whether you were forced to take it or whether you were demonized for not taking it. And we should be gently, calmly reminding people that. And at the same time, we should be talking to people who are forced to get it and telling them there are ways to try and clean your system out and point them in the right direction. People are listening now more than they've ever listened before. And we shouldn't be, I mean, what's the right word? Braggadocious, I guess. Like, it shouldn't be like a ha-ha told you so kind of moment. It needs to be more of like a, dude, I know. We're still here for you. Just like we were there for you then. And that's the conversations that we need to be having today. Janet is on line 1. Janet, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I appreciate your call. What do you got?
Well, my brother just passed away. He was 70 years old. He worked for Kaiser Hospital in California, and he was required to take the COVID shots. I know he took at least 6, because he would brag about it. He couldn't even take 7, because I think after a while he stopped telling me. But he just passed away. He was 70. He complained that he had and he ended up in the ICU. He was in ICU for 22 days. And they did 5 surgeries on him, and he passed away in one of the operations. And hearing your doctor talk about all the things that went wrong, I just think that he got too many shots. And he lost his life.
And he did it.
Yeah, I mean,
they did an autopsy.
That might be the case. What did the autopsy say?
I did not expect them to do an autopsy because he died in the hospital, and they did an autopsy. I almost wonder if they are thinking the same thing.
I mean, they may be thinking it, but I think one of the issues here is that the medical industrial complex doesn't want to admit it out loud. You know, and I think that's one of the toughest issues. It's like, because of their unwillingness to tell the truth, like, every death now has question marks around it. And it's like, it murkies the water a little bit. Like, it may have just been bad luck with your brother. It may have been something more than that. But,
right. I think he was fairly healthy, and all of a sudden he had an aneurysm, and all of a sudden he would get valves replaced in his heart, and all of a sudden, everything just went wrong.
And how long did all that really begin after he was vaccinated?
Oh, he started getting vaccinated the day 1.
Yeah, that's.
And to have 6 shots, he was full of that stuff.
So he got 6 of the COVID shots?
6.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, one of the and you know, you tell me what you think. One of the biggest tells for me is when they initially said, you know, this vaccine is going to stop it from you getting it and transmitting it. And they initially put out the COVID vax cards, which I thought was a huge red flag because before they even announced the booster, there was a slot on the vaccine card for your second vaccination.
Yeah.
So I had my questions from the jump. Listen, Janet, I'm really sorry to hear about your brother. I don't think you're alone at all, and I think it's more the reason why we all need to be speaking up. Not in like anger, not hostily, but we need to absolutely share these stories.
Well, thank you for bringing her on and opening my eyes, and I'm sure everybody else's eyes.
Well,
thank you for your show.
I appreciate it, Janet. Thank you so much. You know, it's like a guest like Dr. Susanna Underwood from Borough Holistic Health, if we had done this exact same show in 2021, probably would have gotten me removed from social media. Our accounts would have been banned. We wouldn't have been able to get back on YouTube. I probably would have got a knock on the door from the FCC, and the amount of the thumb being pushed down on us would have been immense. It's just the way it was. We got a little bit more freedom now than we used to, but we need to keep speaking up, because if we don't, we are doomed to repeat the exact same thing. And maybe not in our generation, maybe it's not me, but my kids or my grandkids, you got to tell these stories. We'll keep sharing them here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:22. We'll take a couple more of your phone calls on the way. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. We talk about it a lot. You got to protect the things that you love. And you got to protect the things that you can't lose. You got to protect the things that you can't replace. And maybe that's some firearms. Maybe it's gold and silver or jewelry. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a guitar collection or some photo albums or some birth certificates, the things that you wouldn't want to lose in a fire, you wouldn't want stolen. Well, how do you protect them? You make a phone call to my friends at Parker Safes and Vaults. These guys have been helping people protect what matters most to them for close to 20 years. In one phone call, you can remedy any situation that would cause you to lose something in a burglary or a fire. The guys at Parker Safes and Vaults will help you choose the right safe for your needs and your budget. They'll professionally deliver it and install it themselves. Veteran-owned, family-run Christian business. And they've been helping people with their security and protection needs since they started in 2009. These guys sell serious products designed for serious protection, not filing cabinets that can be tipped over and pried open by a teenager. Real safes from brands like Liberty, American Security, Grab Thunder, and more. They'll specialize in the right safe for you. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, these are the people to call in Middle Tennessee. Today is the day to make that call and get it done. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. Find them online, ParkerSafes.com.
All right, drivers, we got a crash, and it is blocking the right lane of 65 northbound right before Harding Place in Creve Hall. Could drivers be headed for another painful stop at the pump? Tennessee, at least Middle Tennessee's bucking the trend. We'll tell you about it at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 3 minutes here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got Steve on line 2. Wants to talk about COVID. What's up, Steve? How are you?
Good morning, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Absolutely, man. What do you got?
Well, you're talking about the COVID. I just had tuned in. My former wife got the COVID shots on her way to work and lost her memory. And it comes and goes. We've had her 5 times to Vanderbilt, same thing. We don't know what it is. We can't treat it until we can diagnose it. Flew her down to Florida, the Mayo Clinic, same thing. We don't know what it is. Can't treat it until we can diagnose it. We tried. We said, well, let's try a stem cell. So we got stem cell for her. It was $30,000. Insurance didn't pay for it.
You said it was $134,000?
$30,000.
$30,000. Okay, sorry. That's still, I mean, that's still
The
ridiculous.
insurance didn't pay.
It sounds better, but it's still, I mean, it's still a down payment on a house.
Well, yeah, and what happened is my daughter had to move in with her and my son since we were divorced to take care of her mom, and she had a house in Clarksville. She rented that out, but when the stem cell was $30,000, she sells the house. We get into the stem cell. Then my former wife gets cancer and has to take chemo, which wiped out the stem cells. So there's a house and $30,000 down the drain.
Damn.
That's my story. I can hear the Virginia in your voice. Where are you from, Richmond?
So I spent quite a few years in Richmond and that was after I grew up outside of Boston. But yeah, I spent maybe close to 10 years in Richmond.
I grew up in Fredericksburg. I just returned from there. I played the Fredericksburg Fair with a band over the weekend.
Oh, very cool. Love Fredericksburg. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I was on the air out here for 20 years. I'm still on the air. Phil Valentine was a good friend of mine. I'm known as the daddy-o on the patio. I was play oldies, all oldies.
Let's go. Well, I appreciate the call, Steve. Thanks so much, and rest in peace, Uncle Phil. He's the reason why I fell in love with this station. Let's go to Earl on line 1. Real quick, what do you got, Earl?
I had a friend of mine between 40 and 50. Don't get me wrong, he was on the heavy side. But the knowledge that man had when he was working at the place he was working at, if you need to quit anything, that's the man to go to. He took the COVID shot. He still got COVID. Ended up in an iron lung. Survived the iron lung, was in therapy. And I was talking to the guy down there where he was working at. I said, when's Calvin? Nope, I almost said his name. When he's coming back? He said, well, he should be back Monday. He's almost out of therapy. Be done. They talked that man into getting another doggone COVID shot. Within 48 hours of getting that shot, his kidneys and liver both shut down. With that weekend, he was dead.
There's tons of stories just like that. I mean, never forget, Earl, and I appreciate your call. Never forget that when they had you lining up in Nissan Stadium parking lot to get your COVID jab, they also had a little pull-off area in case something bad happened. They just chill here for like 30 minutes, just in case. It'd be a shame if this happened on the road, you know? Like that should have been a red flag. There was many red flags. Who am I kidding? It's 11:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Even as oil prices sink on hopes that there could be a deal in Iran, ABC's Sherry Preston says some think gasoline prices could hit a new record this week.
Patrick DeHaan's with the gas pricing site Gas Buddy and says no matter what happens in Iran, if prices stay close to where they are now, we're likely to hit a new record very soon.
After August 8th, if the national average is still above the $4 mark, it'll be the latest in the calendar year that we've ever seen that $4 a gallon mark still stick around.
The good news is that prices are still below the all-time record set in 2022 and that gasoline demand typically slows ease after the summer months, which could help slow those price increases overall. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Yeah, well, Gas Buddy says Middle Tennessee's bucking the trend right now. The average price per gallon is down. Microsoft issuing a security warning about hotel Wi-Fi. The company saying Russian hackers using phony sign-in pages to break into your accounts. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Microsoft says you should assume that public and hotel Wi-Fi networks might not be trustworthy. Using your phone as a hotspot is a safer option, but make sure that you check your plan's data allowance first. And if you are using 365, consider passwordless login options like passkeys or multi-factor authentication.
Summer vacation coming to an end for millions of kids. And for many, getting back into that school year sleep schedule will be tough. ABC's Rena Roy has some tips for parents on getting their kids ready for those early mornings.
Health experts say it's important to remain consistent with those earlier wake-up times through the weekend. Parents should also focus on good sleep habits. Experts say getting morning light can help jumpstart a child's brain for the day, something as simple as going outside or turning on lights. And parents should watch for signs their children aren't getting enough sleep. And of course, as with everything, experts say parents should try and model good behavior by getting enough sleep themselves. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
37 minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. They're sponsoring our big primary party Thursday night, Hop Springs in the Borough. Matt Murphy kicks things off at 3 o'clock. He's doing a show down there live. Ken Weaver's going to be doing news, boys, down there live. Then myself, Dan Mandis, Chad Benson will be joining him. And we'll be hanging out with you on your radio and live on YouTube with our election coverage special. Live from Hop Springs. So if you can't join us, you'll be able to listen on the air or watch us on your TV at home. And we'll be weighing in as the results come in for the gubernatorial primary. That's the big one. I mean, there's other primaries going on too. There's some congressional races and the such that we'll be covering as well. But the big one's the gubernatorial primary. And we'll be watching this live with you. And you can watch us live while we watch it live. You're watching us live and we're watching it live while we broadcast live. A lot of live. Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. You can join us live. Free. Totally free. It's going to be an awesome time. We hope that you join us out there. It should be a great time. A little while ago, we were talking about Kyrie Irving. We were talking about Stephen A. Smith. And I said, I couldn't remember any other athletes. I remember Kyrie Irving pretty explicitly. The Super Texters, the vast staff, they jumped in. And they said, no, there were a few others. And they brought up Aaron Rodgers, which I had completely forgotten about. And they brought up, oh my gosh, I'm trying to find the text. Novak Djokovic. He's the tennis player, right? So there were a few. There was definitely a few that stood up and said, not me. I spaced on Aaron Rodgers. I should have remembered that one. I'll be honest with you. I would have definitely forgot about Novak because I don't pay attention to those sports at all. That's on me. We do have some stories here in the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Every single day this time, we called the lightning round. All the stories we didn't have a chance to get to. Stories that we wanted to talk about, but we ran out of time because we were talking about other things. It happens. That's all right. And we're excited to run through them here in the lightning round. That's what we do. We do a little bit of singing, a lot of stories. First story in the lightning round. So the Pentagon is confronting a growing reality after months of fighting in Iran. And it's now making even Fox News, what was once declared a conspiracy theory, is now being covered with some pretty much certainty here. America's stockpile of missile defense interceptors is shrinking so much that military planners are weighing whether they can continue the current cycle of limited retaliatory strikes. Now, I was listening to Dan this morning, and I was listening and checking out the super text reaction, and people are like, this is traitorous that the media would report on this. But I'm online a lot, and I've seen this discussed for months, actually, that this was Iran's strategy the whole time. Deplete their stockpile. Deplete the stockpile, and then see what happens. So I don't view this as traitorous. I view this as people just paying attention to what's actually happening on the ground. And I'll be honest with you, I would wager, if I was a betting man, that Iran knew about this long before Fox News or the Washington Post or the New York Times reported on it.
Well, the Pentagon is confronting a growing reality after months of fighting in Iran. America's stockpile of missile defense interceptors is shrinking so much that military planners are weighing whether they can continue the current cycle of limited retaliatory strikes. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, using open source budget numbers, estimates U.S. Patriot interceptor inventories have fallen from roughly 2,300 pre-war to fewer than 827, while THAAD interceptors have dropped from 452 to fewer than 278. CSIS warns rebuilding those stockpiles could take 3 years or more.
If you look at what we've expended for Patriots, for example, it's over half the global inventory now has been consumed in the Middle East. Similar for the THAAD interceptors as well. These are things that we have to intercept ballistic missiles. So that really leaves us with very little excess to be able to use in other theaters, whether it's defend U.S. forces in Europe or the Indo-Pacific.
The Pentagon recently summoned leading Silicon Valley defense firms like Shield AI, Anduril, and others to discuss urgently replenishing depleted U.S. weapons inventories.
Now, again, all of this comes after President Trump over the weekend canceled an Iran attack. Now, the president cited progress in negotiations, but it feels like Groundhog's Day on that front, if we're being perfectly honest. This is from Axios. President Trump said Saturday night that he called off a potential attack on Iran due to progress in negotiations between the two nations. There had been indications from some U.S. officials that an attack on Iran's infrastructure was possible, all in an effort to get the Iranians to agree to the U.S. terms in a ceasefire negotiation. President writing on his Truth Social account, I've agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. Trump added that Iran and other Middle Eastern countries had asked the U.S. to hold off on attacking and that the perimeters of a deal had been agreed to, and that this would include the immediate, complete, and total openings of the Hormuz Strait and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Trump spoke on Saturday, with MBS expressing concern over the strike plans. Axios' Barack Ravid and Mark Caputo reported hours before the president's social media post. Other regional powers, including Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Pakistan, also pressed the U.S. and Iran to de-escalate. They say an attack on Iran's infrastructure and energy sites would have escalated the war that the president has repeatedly pressed pause on in order to negotiate with Iran, only for strikes to resume when diplomacy has stalled. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned off the U.S. and Israel, which was expected to join U.S. in large-scale strikes, from any further action. This is where we are today. The president is saying we're holding off. He said it would have been the biggest attack since World War II. Some people say that that signals prosperity nukes. I don't know if it does or does not, but it does look like they're holding off for now. I'm praying for a deal. I want this to end anyway. I really don't care. If that means nuking them, then I say nuke them. If that means negotiating a deal, negotiate a deal. Let's just figure this thing out. It's not good for the United States, and it feels like the popularity of this war continues to hit new lows every single day. All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round. Those storms off in the distance. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit off in the distance. Nothing is going to prepare you for this. And part of me wonders if this was done intentionally. Over the weekend, you probably didn't hear that we had the women's first ever professional baseball game. Yep, I know. I was learning it for the first time as you were, because apparently they didn't have a marketing budget. It's the WBL. Nope, I lied. What's it even called? Nobody knows.
I'd imagine it would be the WLB, like the women's league baseball.
Yeah, no, I spelled basketball for some reason, which was an awesome movie if you haven't seen it. So,
basketball?
You never seen Basketball?
No.
Dude.
Who's the big actor in it?
You really are born in 2003, aren't you?
Yes.
So this was at South Park was at its height? Trey Parker and Matt Stone? Basketball? You've never seen it? You got homework tonight.
I will.
You got homework.
Take notes.
You will laugh. At least I think you will. I don't know. A lot of stuff that I think was funny when I was a kid, I don't find funny anymore. Over the weekend, me and the kids, I was like, you guys hadn't heard of Weird Al? And my kids were like, no, Dad. We're not 100. And I was like, Weird Al was the funniest. And I put on some Weird Al songs, and I was like, it's not as funny as I remember it. And I kind of wish that I hadn't put them on. And maybe I'm going to feel the same way about basketball. Maybe I won't. Tell you what.
Basketball was in 1998.
Yeah, you were -5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was significantly removed from this movie.
So you can't watch movies before you were born?
No, I totally can. But
all right. So that's your homework for tonight.
You know, is it a classic?
I thought it was.
Okay. Well, then you have to watch tonight too.
All right, I will.
With the boys.
I definitely can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I assure you.
I can see here it's an R-rated movie, so don't watch it with them.
No.
Maybe with Virginia, but I don't know. Maybe spare her too.
So, it's funny you say that because this is not the first time that I've brought up basketball in the past couple months, and Virginia had never seen it either. And I said to her, "You need to see it." And then I put on the trailer, and she said to me, "I'm not going to watch that." And I said, "We're going to watch it." And we haven't gotten there yet, but I'm going to make her watch it. Don't worry. All right, so the women's, we got off topic. Just hit another lightning strike. Let's get back. There we go. The Women's Pro Baseball League started on Saturday with, why are they named this? I don't know. With the Los Angeles Queens and the New York Heights. Okay, that's their names. I didn't know you could have worse team names than the WNBA, but we do. We do. The Los Angeles Queens, which if you were a betting man and somebody said, "Tell me what group the Los Angeles Queens belongs to," nobody on planet Earth would bet that it was the Pro Women's Baseball League. Just so you know. So nobody cared about the game. Nobody's talking about the game. Nobody even knows the final score of the game. I didn't even watch a second of the game. All anybody's talking about is Martha Reeves. Martha was the lead singer of the group, Martha and the Vandellas. Well, she, I don't know, would you call this a botch when it came to the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud
and there's no filter on this.
No filter. At the twilight's last gleaming.
All you have is a bunch of baseball players standing behind her, female baseball players, and a bunch of people in the audience doing their absolute best not to bust out laughing throughout this entire rendition. And if you think it can't get any worse, just wait.
Who's broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Here it comes.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
nailed it.
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Still there.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
So sick.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That is something.
That
was something, wasn't it?
That was every note was wobbly. Every single one had like a vibration through it.
Yeah. America.
The ladies in the background sounded so great. You can tell that there was a hint of like actual amazingness in the background, and then
at like one point when they just kind of let her take over, they're like, "Nah, you go for it."
Was this lady severely overweight?
No.
What was her ethnic background?
Well, she's a Motown singer.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know Motown?
No.
Oh my gosh, your age is showing. Motown was like, the jazz and the groove.
She's black.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I thought she was a fat black lady. That's how I pictured
That's how you
her
heard it in your head? Why would you picture that?
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Still there.
That's my favorite part. I don't I don't see color. I just hear excellence.
Oh my gosh, you should see the YouTube chat emojis right now.
It's just, listen, I'm sorry if you don't like it, but this is what excellence sounds like.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Sing it.
of the free
Yes.
and the home of the brave?
If Dana White does not contract her to sing the national anthem at the next UFC UFC matches, I'm not tuning in.
Well, I said, so Mark Levin, we call him the night guy. He's on Super Talk every night. He always plays the national anthem. And I'm of the opinion that this should replace his version. Because what you just heard is excellence. You just heard the greatest rendition ever. And this is one of the reasons why I had to play it for you, because I know you didn't get to watch the debut of the Pro Women's Baseball League, and you missed it.
That was it?
Yeah.
That.
They started their league Saturday. It was a game. It was a game between the Los Angeles Queens and the New York Heights.
And that was the national anthem.
I mean, the greatest national anthem of all time ever sung at a women's professional baseball game.
Ken, are you saying that this wasn't the greatest rendition of the national anthem you've ever heard in your entire life? Maybe better than any original version?
I just cover the news, boys. Yeah.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
I bet you she's a baddie, too.
I bet you she was back in the day.
Yeah.
Man.
They proved through the night that our flag was still there. Still there.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It just, if you don't like that version, you don't have an appreciation for talent. So,
man, that's something.
It is. Sure is. I love that there was no musical track behind it either. She's like, nah, I'm going to do this a cappella, fam. I got this.
Rockets red glare.
So good. So good. I'm a fan. Martha Reeves. Listen, people showed up to hear her sing and then found out that they were there for a baseball game. And for that, we thank them. It's 11:55. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. You already know the score. We had a couple baseball tournaments over the weekend and a lot of rain, so red dirt and mud was tracked inside the house. We call our friends at Zero Res. In fact, I'm sitting at the baseball field, right? And the rain is just pouring down before we got our first game started. And one of my buddies, one of the dads on the team, he looked over at me. He's like, oh yeah, you're calling Zero Res this weekend. I was like, absolutely. And you should call Zero Res too. These guys are the Maha of carpet cleaning. They are going to clean your carpets without harsh chemicals. They're not going to leave soap residue behind. They're just going to use their ZR water system. And it's actually going to get everything out. My carpets look insanely clean. They dry faster and they honestly stay clean longer. And that matters when you got kids running in and out of the house all day. It's the perfect time to do it every time you do it with our friends at Zero Res. 4,800 Google reviews, a 4.9 rating. We're not the only family in Middle Tennessee that's using them. Call 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376. Ask them about their 2- and 3-room specials going on now, or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com.